Chapter 1551, 4,000 Years Lifespan Gu. Chapter 1551, 4,000 Years Lifespan Gu. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Dang Hun Mountain was a secluded domain of heaven and earth. There was only one in the 5 regions. Guts Gu produced by Dang Hun Mountain was a monopoly. As long as souls were supplied, it was an inexhaustible gold mine. As such, its value was enormous. Xianxia Lan's spirit had to compensate Fang Yuan by 10 times this value. If this was an ordinary blessed land or even a grotto heaven, it probably would not be able to pay such compensation even if the entire blessed land was added in. But Xianxia blessed land had enough ability to pay this. Back when Fang Yuan had set this compensation agreement with Xianxia Lan's spirit, how could he not have considered this point? Xianxia Blessed Land was the #1 blessed land in 5 regions, especially after Imperial Court Blessed Land was destroyed. It had an extremely abundant foundation. Fang Yuan had no doubt that it was fully capable of bearing the compensation. Putting everything aside, Fang Yuan first mentioned Wisdom Gu to Xianxia Lan's spirit. I need to move Wisdom Gu to my immortal aperture. So I want the method to move Wisdom Gu as my first compensation. This method was the core of Xianxia sect's true inheritance. Fang Yuan had all along tried to obtain it, but even when both sides exchanged true inheritances, he was not able to get it. Xianxia Lan's spirit firmly kept this method to himself. He was not an idiot. If he exchanged this method with Fang Yuan, would it not mean Fang Yuan could take away Wisdom Gu himself? Although Wisdom Gu was untamed and did not belong to Xianxia sect, Xianxia Blessed Land's hairy man Gu immortals had been able to take it out from Hu immortal Blessed Land. Xianxia Lan's spirit's expression immediately changed. Fang Yuan directly mentioned this request. It was like a sharp sword that pierced Xianxia Lan's spirit's heart. Xianxia Lan's spirit had no choice but to agree. What Xianxia Lan's spirit had been plotting all along was to attempt to control Wisdom Gu by feeding it continuously with Lifespan Gu. So he had been willing to part with Lifespan Gu and help Fang Yuan raise Wisdom Gu. Unfortunately, even until now, Xianxia Lan's spirit was not able to get his wish. His plan showed no results. Fang Yuan mentioning this request was the same as claiming back Wisdom Gu. As such, all the investments Xianxia Lan's spirit made previously were in vain, and it instead seemed like he had slaved away for Fang Yuan. He was of course not willing to. But he was not able to explicitly retort. After all, Wisdom Gu might be a wild immortal Gu, but it was taken out of Fang Yuan's blessed land by hairy man Gu immortals. Xianxia Lan's spirit spoke hesitantly. Is that okay? Actually, if we can control Wisdom Gu, we can use it as the core to construct Immortal Gu House secluded residence. Not only can we defend ourselves, but also prevent deductions from almost everyone in the world. Fang Yuan smiled. First Supreme Elder, your plan is good, but it is extremely difficult to materialize. Do you have confidence in implementing it as quickly as possible? Xianxia Lan's spirit was reduced to silence. Fang Yuan continued, the current situation is dangerous. It is not favorable for you to protect Wisdom Gu. Feng Jiu Gu has discovered Wisdom Gu, which means Heavenly Court is also aware of it. They absolutely won't be willing to let it go and will attack Xianxia Blessed Land again. At that time, what do we do if they seize Wisdom Gu? Xianxia Lan's spirit heaved a deep sigh. What Fang Yuan said was the truth. Secluded residence was only a fantasy right now, while Heavenly Court's attack was right in front of them. In fact, Xianxia Lan's spirit had already hidden Wisdom Gu to the best of his abilities, but what could he do when Feng Jiu Ji's investigative method was so innovative and powerful? Wisdom Gu had once been star constellation Immortal Venerables Gu. Now that it was discovered, it was clear Heavenly Court would place great importance on this. Their next attack was definitely going to be much more fierce and dangerous. Fang Yuan was right, but Xianxia Lan's spirit was not resigned to give up his plans. At this time, Fang Yuan added, First Supreme Elder, secluded residence is a good idea, but it has its disadvantages. If we truly make Xianxia Blessed Land into a place of absolute refuge and peace, would the hairy man Gu immortals still have motivation to actively cultivate? We want to create the rule of hairy men. but if we make these hairy man Gu immortals live under the protection of secluded residents, wouldn't they start returning to their previous lifestyle over time? Lang Yalan's spirit was stumped. Fang Yuan's words made sense. Hairy man Gu immortals lacked a sense of danger. The previous Lang Yalan's spirit was too protective of the hairy man Gu immortals, causing these Gu immortals to have almost no battle strength. When Shadow Sect had invaded, they were almost subdued. They could not go back to the previous lifestyle. Lang Yalan's spirit took a deep breath, nodding heavily. Fang Yuan, I will agree to your request. I will give you the complete method. Out of the 10 Dang Hun Mountain compensation, this method is worth half a Dang Hun Mountain. Okay. Fang Yuan did not doubt Lang Yalan's spirit's words. Lang Yalan's spirit would not lie. It was extremely beneficial for Fang Yuan to transact with him. Next, I need some lifespan Gu. Fang Yuan mentioned his second request. If he took wisdom Gu into his sovereign immortal aperture, he would have to shoulder its feeding issue. Fang Yuan had lifespan Gu on him, but it was not safe to rely on these stocks. Okay. Lang Yalan's spirit agreed happily to this request. He was a land spirit, he could live as long as Langya blessed land existed, so he had no use for lifespan Gu. Naturally, the hairy man Gu immortals in Langya sect would need lifespan Gu to prolong their lives. However, hairy men were variant humans, they had much longer lifespan than humans. Secondly, feeding wisdom Gu was clearly much more important than extending the hairy man Gu immortals' lives. Thereupon, Fang Yuan used 1.5 Dang Hun Mountain compensation to exchange for a large amount of lifespan Gu. Long Hair Ancestor was a person from 300,000 years ago. Langya blessed land had an extremely long history of 300,000 years, it had plundered an enormous amount of lifespan Gu. Although Fang Yuan had taken away most of the stock of lifespan Gu, Langya blessed land still had a lot left. Fang Yuan calculated that if he used all the lifespan Gu he had on himself, he could prolong his life by over 4,000 years. Even Red Lotus Demon Venerable had only lived for over 3,000 years. This meant, if Fang Yuan used these lifespan Gu, he could live longer than Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Naturally, the precondition was he was not killed by someone in this period of time. These lifespan Gu could clearly solve wisdom Gu's feeding issue for a long period of time. Among the Venerables, Red Lotus Demon Venerable had the shortest lifespan. Limitless Demon Venerable and Reckless Savage Demon Venerable lived for over 6,000 years. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable lived for over 7,000 years, and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable for over 8,000 years. The longest-lived 3 had all joined Heavenly Court. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable lived for over 12,000 years, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable for over 19,000 years, and Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable's age surpassed 25,000 years. He was the first Immortal Venerable in human history, and also was the longest-lived Venerable. All Immortal and Demon Venerables lived for a long time, but in history, many Rank 8 and Rank 7 Gu Immortals have also lived a long life, some even living for thousands of years. There is not a lack of people who have lived longer than some immortal or demon venerables. But with the 5 regions chaotic war incoming, the great era is about to open its curtains. Lifespan Gu will become increasingly scarce. Especially, when Great Dream Immortal Venerable reaches rank 9, lifespan Gu will be extremely rare, heaven and earth will no longer produce it, until there is no stock of lifespan Gu left. Fang Yuan inwardly pondered. These lifespan Gu had extremely huge value, and this value would continue to increase with the passing of time. According to the historical records, many great experts and old monsters would pay any price to extend their life by even a few days. Lifespan Gu was only immortal Gu, but there were many examples in history where lifespan Gu was exchanged with immortal Gu. Fang Yuan's current compensation was calculated by Lang Yalan's spirit according to the current value of lifespan Gu. This no doubt allowed Fang Yuan to get a much cheaper deal. Of course, if he developed Dang Hun Mountain well, his prospects would also be extremely remarkable. After settling the lifespan Gu compensation, Fang Yuan used 1 Dang Hun Mountain compensation to exchange for a huge amount of Langya sect contribution points as well as beast enslavement immortal Gu. Fang Yuan had borrowed beast enslavement immortal Gu a few times before, it was extremely useful. As for Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus, it was a no-brainer. Fang Yuan knew Xianxia Land's spirit would absolutely not part with this immortal Gu. As such, out of the 10 Dang Hun Mountain compensation, 7 remained. Now, Fang Yuan was going for a big one. I want to use 7 Dang Hun Mountain compensation to exchange for something in the sect. Fang Yuan said to Xianxia Land's spirit. Xianxia Land's spirit was immediately tensed as he quickly asked, what do you want to exchange with? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1552, Refinement Path True Meaning. Chapter 1552, Refinement Path True Meaning. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Exchange with what? Fang Yuan smiled and continued, naturally, I want Refinement Path True Meaning. Ah. You actually know there is Refinement Path True Meaning in the sect? Xianxia Land's spirit almost jumped from shock. This was the greatest secret of Xianxia's sect and also the most valuable treasure in the sect's storage. What was true meaning? True meaning was considered a type of will. Wisdom path has the 3 elements of thoughts, wills and emotions. True meaning was the most valuable and enchanting thing sought after by everyone, whether they were Gu masters or Gu venerables. Northern Plains Icy Plain was created by Reckless Savage Demon Venerable. It contained Reckless Savage True Meaning. Thus, when a Gu master underwent immortal ascension in the Northern Icy Plain, they would evoke Reckless Savage True Meaning. When a Gu immortal obtained this true meaning, they could gain a huge boost in their transformation path or strength path attainment levels. Dream realms also contain true meaning. Fang Yuan had explored several dream realms and was able to increase his attainment in all kinds of paths because he had absorbed the true meaning contained within them. So true meaning usually signified a rise in attainment level. Why was the 5 regions chaotic war an unprecedentedly magnificent era? The fundamental reason was the dream realms appearing everywhere in the world. Many who explored these dream realms successfully obtained the true meaning contained inside, raising their attainment levels. Accumulating attainment level normally took a long period of time. But true meaning greatly shrunk this process. This caused geniuses and elites to endlessly appear from every corner of the world, fighting and killing each other, giving birth to an unprecedented chaotic era. The importance of true meaning went without saying, and the true meaning stored in the depths of Xianxia's sect had an even greater origin. This true meaning originated from Long Hair Ancestor. Who was Long Hair Ancestor? A Refinement Path Rank 8 Great Expert, known as the #1 Refinement Path Immortal of all times. The long history of humanity spanned innumerable years, and throughout this time, there existed 3 most outstanding peak refinement path experts: Old Eccentric Tian Nan, Old Immortal Kong Ju, and Long Hair Ancestor. Even Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had to concede to Long Hair Ancestor in terms of refinement path ability. The 2 venerables had requested Long Hair Ancestor to refine Gu for them. In the statistics made by later generations, Long Hair Ancestor had refined at least 38 immortal Gu in his life. This was only the conclusive summary, it did not account for his many legends and rumors. If the rumors were noted, then this number would surpass 100. Even more terrifying was that most of these immortal Gu were not rank 6, instead they were of high levels like rank 7 and rank 8. The refinement path true meaning in Xianxia sect was the true meaning of Long Hair Ancestor. It was extremely comprehensive. If Fang Yuan obtained it and absorbed it completely, his refinement path attainment level could immediately soar to quasi-supreme grandmaster. This was akin to reaching heaven in one step, an ant instantly becoming an unprecedented giant beast. Or a starving beggar suddenly becoming the richest in the whole country. It was exactly this concept. The reason why it was quasi was because Supreme Grandmaster required surpassing the foundation of the whole world, creating something out of nothing, achieving a new innovation. Fang Yuan could not do this now. If he obtained the refinement path true meaning, he was only completely inheriting long-hair ancestors' attainment level, he was not going further from this foundation and surpassing the whole world's refinement path foundation. Fang Yuan did not have any extravagant hope toward Supreme Grandmaster. As far as he was concerned, this title was just a kind of supreme glory. Quasi-supreme was already enough for him to look down proudly at all refinement path Gu immortals in the whole 5 regions. As long as he obtained this true meaning, he would transform from a small dune to the highest peak in one go. Gu are the essence of heaven and earth, man is the spirit of all living beings. There were no strongest Gu worm in the world, only strongest Gu immortal. And how could a Gu immortal be the strongest? Attainment level was one of the most important judging criteria. Having quasi-supreme refinement path attainment was akin to reaching a peak height and having the most abundant foundation, the rest would come along later. Using 7 Dang Hun mountain compensation to exchange for a will. Would Fang Yuan not suffer a loss? Of course not. Even if he had several Dang Hun mountains, they only represented a huge amount of cultivation resources. And, what resource was the most precious? Most would definitely answer attainment level. You want the refinement path true meaning left behind by my main body? That is impossible. Xianxia Lan's spirit refused. Fang Yuan was already mentally prepared for Xianxia Lan's spirit's attitude. He smiled. First Supreme Elder, our Xianxia sect has held on to this will for 300,000 years. If it is only preserved indefinitely, how different is it from a rock? Or maybe, do you want to leave this refinement path true meaning to the other hairy man Gu immortals? Xianxia Lan's spirit shook his head. Ever since the establishment of Xianxia Blessed Land, the previous land spirit had been considering this issue, but these hairy man Gu immortals still don't have enough qualifications. Then, give it to me. Fang Yuan immediately said. You are even more unqualified. Xianxia Lan's spirit said, firmly. Fang Yuan gave a soundless laughter. The current Xianxia Lan spirit had the doctrine of hairy man supremacy, all along firmly believing hairy men were superior to humans, and hairy men should rule the world while humans should depend on them for survival. Xianxia Lan's spirit did not even look upon those hairy man Gu immortals, he would even more so not consider Fang Yuan, who was a human. Long hair true meaning is the supreme treasure of my hairy men, even at worst, even if it goes to hairy man Gu masters, it won't be for you, a human, to enjoy. Xianxia Lan's spirit's inner thoughts were roughly like this. Fang Yuan took a deep breath, his next persuasion was going to be crucial. He had already thought properly. At this moment, he said in a serious tone, First Supreme Elder, you are also aware of the current situation, it is extremely precarious. Heavenly Court's first attempt failed, but there will be a second attack, a third attack. They absolutely won't give up until they completely succeed or completely fail. I understand this. Xianxia Lan's spirit's tone was solemn. If I have this refinement path true meaning, my strength will soar rapidly and I will have even more assurance in helping Xianxia sect resist Heavenly Court. Xianxia sect has helped me so much, this is my home, I won't stand by and watch Heavenly Court destroy it. If I become a refinement path quasi-supreme grandmaster, I can refine immortal Gu and improve the current super Gu formation of Xianxia Blessed Land. You also know I have inherited Shadow Sect's legacy, it contains a lot of information concerning Heavenly Court and Central Continent's 10 great ancient sections. Previously, we only exchanged true inheritances, now I am going to share this information with you. I have already deduced that Feng Jiuji's group used a killer move with fixed immortal travel as the core to invade Xianxia Blessed Land. After we have resolved the compensation matter, I will use Wisdom Gu to think of methods to guard against fixed immortal travel. Besides these, don't forget I have some subordinates, you also know that they are all elites in fighting. Xianxia Lan's spirit was silent. Fang Yuan's words were extremely reasonable, it did not matter during the peaceful times, but in this situation, Heavenly Court was gazing at them covetously. They did not even know when the next attack was going to arrive. Xianxia Lan's spirit was not ignorant, he knew a lot about Heavenly Court and so felt even greater pressure. Xianxia sect might have Heavenly Giant Solar which was comparable to a rank 8 Gu immortal, but in the earlier battle with Feng Gu, its various flaws had been exposed. Langya's sect urgently required even more assistance. The snowmen, ink men, and rock men could barely mobilize a rank 8 battle strength. The strongest battle strength was still Fang Yuan. Langya Lan's spirit already knew that Fang Yuan, who possessed reverse flow protection seal, was the strongest battle strength among them. Langya Lan's spirit and Langya Blessed Land would need a source of strength like Fang Yuan in the future. Fang Yuan, if you need to refine Gu, I will personally take the task. Don't forget there are still other supreme elders, everyone will help you. Langya Lan's spirit remained silent for a while, before saying. Fang Yuan smiled, everyone's strength cannot be underestimated, I already have a deep impression of this when I requested everyone to refine Gu. But can our refinement path ability be on par with a quasi-supreme grandmaster? Of course it could not. Moreover, there is a huge difference in asking others to refine Gu and personally refining Gu, isn't that so? Langya Lan's spirit was silent once again. These were all genuine reasons Langya Lan's spirit wanted to refute but could not. But reason alone could not persuade Langya Lan's spirit. Fang Yuan knew he needed to use feelings as well. First Supreme Elder, our interactions have always been heart to heart. Are you still not aware of my current situation? Do you still not understand my current feelings? After I escaped the trap and heard Langya Blessed Land was attacked, I was really anxious, it was like a fire burned in my heart, I really hate myself for not being able to immediately return. Langya sect is my home, in such a huge world, only here can I feel at home. Although I am a human, I want to be a hairy man. But it is a pity that fate toys with people, I was born as a human, and not a noble hairy man. But I am willing to permanently transform into a hairy man in the future. I am willing to eternally live in Langya Blessed Land, marry Shui'er, unite the other variant human races, and assist you in your wish of making hairy man dominate the world. Fang Yuan spoke with such emotions that even he himself was filled with goosebumps. Langya Lan's spirit heaved a long sigh, "Oh Fang Yuan, I understand your feelings, I already knew it. But, this is a huge matter, I need to think and consider it properly. Right now. I cannot make this decision." A sharp light flashed past Fang Yuan's eyes, he could not give Langya Lan's spirit time to think. The more he thought, the smaller Fang Yuan's hope would become. As such, Fang Yuan said, "First Supreme Elder, you are right in wanting to consider it properly. No matter how long you take, I will wait for your reply. In this period, I will keep an eye on Heavenly Court and try my best to probe information. I will immediately report to you when they make any suspicious movement." These words immediately made Langya Lan's spirit come to a decision. He bitterly sighed, the situation is perilous, if I still persist in preserving the true meaning, even Langya Blessed Land might not be safe. Fang Yuan, you are one of us, I trust you. Honestly, if you were a hairy man, I might have already entrusted the whole Langya Blessed Land to you. This refinement path true meaning. I will give it to you. I will not let down First Supreme Elder's expectations. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1553, Thunder Ghost True Monarch. Chapter 1553, Thunder Ghost True Monarch. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Central Continent, Heavenly Court. Huff, huff, huff. Fairy Ziwei was panting roughly, her pupils shrunk to pin-size. Her expression was still filled with fear, it had yet to dissipate. All around her was emptiness. The Grand Rank 8 Immortal Gu House Soul Suppression Hall was already completely gone. Dang Hun Mountain was a secluded domain of heaven and earth, and with its uncountable number of Dao marks, it could rival Rank 9 Immortal Gu. The power of its self-detonation was unimaginably terrifying. Soul Suppression Hall did not even have time to respond, and with the explosion occurring from inside, it became a victim of Dang Hun Mountain's explosion. Fairy Ziwei, however, was completely unharmed. Dazzling starlight surrounded her, it was like she was covered in a thin veil made with stardust. This was Immortal Gu House Star Constellation Chessboard, the Immortal Gu House personally created by Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. If Star Constellation Chessboard did not take the initiative to protect me, even if I didn't die, I would have been heavily injured. Fairy Ziwei barely maintained her calm as her eyes narrowed to slits. Her expression was extremely heavy. Dang Hun Mountain was actually tampered with. I did not find anything even though I inspected it several times earlier. This was probably Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's doing. To deal with Shadow Sect, I have roughly gone through all the Soul Path inheritances in Heavenly Court. But I was still played by Fang Yuan. Heavenly Court's Soul Path Foundation still cannot compare to Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Furthermore, Star Constellation Chessboard also suffered a lot of damage. Fairy Ziwei was not injured, but she felt like spewing blood when she thought of the danger and the losses she suffered. Her gaze moved towards the front. Ahead of her was a lump of dense black shadow. It was extremely deep like a dark pool. It stayed there as black light continuously shone around it. Spectral Soul. Fairy Ziwei said hatefully while gritting her teeth. Dang Hun Mountain's soul explosion actually did not injure Spectral Soul, instead he benefited from it, hiding and nourishing himself within the countless soul path Dao marks. Dang Hun Mountain's soul explosion method was originally created by him. After the soul explosion, Soul Suppression Hall was destroyed, while Spectral Soul obtained temporary freedom. He did not try to make a blind escape, instead using this huge opportunity to hide himself within the countless soul path Dao marks. Like this, who knew how long it would take before Heavenly Court could soul search him again? Soul Suppression Hall had the ability to soul search, but now it was gone, completely destroyed. And Spectral Soul was using this temporary territorial advantage to recover. Humph, keep dragging it out until your end. Fairy Ziwei sneered. As long as he was in Heavenly Court, Spectral Soul was like a fish in a jar, unable to escape. Spectral Soul's outcome would not change. But it was rather troublesome for Heavenly Court to get rid of these soul path Dao marks. They would need to spend a long period of time at least. The abyss deep dark whirlpool did not emit any sound. Spectral Soul still maintained silence. Fairy Ziwei's fury rose even more. Right at this time, a thunder-like rumbling sound was heard, then flashes of lightning illuminated Heavenly Court. A thunderstorm brewed, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. There is an abnormal reaction from the immortal graveyard. Back then, when Duke Long woke up, the whole of Heavenly Court shook. I wonder which senior woke up this time. Fairy Ziwei raised her head and looked at this scene, feeling stunned at first before turning joyous. Rumble. A huge burst of thunder echoed, tens of lightning bolts flashed in the sky before converging into a lump. The dark blue lightning suddenly exploded, and a human figure jumped out of the lightning sphere. This figure was extremely fast, appearing in front of Fairy Ziwei almost in an instant. So I did not sense wrongly. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, you were truly caught. Ha ha ha. This Gu Immortal, who had just woken up, began laughing loudly. Fairy Ziwei carefully observed the person. She had a young girl's appearance. She was clad in a pitch-black suit of armor. The armor was ferocious and flamboyant, having sharp curved spikes and lightning flashing above it. The chest portion of the armor had a dark blue opened mouth like that of a giant ghost. And her helmet looked like a monster's head, forming a stark contrast with the girl's delicate and cute appearance. The immortal graveyard was unfathomable. Even Fairy Ziwei did not know how many great experts were hibernating in there. As for this person, she knew her origin. Immediately, Fairy Ziwei bowed in greeting. Junior Ziwei pays respect to Senior Thunder Ghost True Monarch. What era is this? There is still someone who knows my, Jing Lan's, honorific title. The black-armored girl gave a slight exclamation of surprise, her gaze moving from the dark whirlpool to Fairy Ziwei. Fairy Ziwei's spirits rose. This Jing Lan was a great expert selected from Black Heaven Temple. She mainly cultivated two major paths, Lightning Path and Soul Path. Her two paths did not conflict with each other. This non-conflicting method was her own creation. and she could only do this with Lightning Path and Soul Path. She was an extremely lively Gu immortal born in Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's time. She was extremely proficient in fighting and had been one of Heavenly Court's most valuable experts in resisting Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. She had once given huge trouble to Spectral Soul, but after Spectral Soul became a Venerable, he slaughtered countless beings and was unstoppable. She had to gloomily give up and hibernate in the immortal graveyard. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had the most murderous nature among the Venerables, but Jing Lan was actually able to stay alive. She definitely had powerful methods. Senior is experienced in dealing with Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Ziwei, ask for guidance in dealing with this situation. After conversing a while, Fairy Ziwei bowed again and asked. Jing Lan narrowed her eyes, snorting, if I had all my immortal Gu, I could break this tortoise shell in 33 days. When Gu immortals went to hibernation, almost all would hand over all their immortal Gu, aside from some exceptions. After all, these immortal Gu needed to be taken care of and fed. Fairy Ziwei closed her eyes and looked at the information path Gu worms in her phantom aperture, after which she looked embarrassed. What's wrong? Jing Lan asked. Some immortal Gu which Senior left behind were destroyed because of various reasons. Fairy Ziwei answered. They were of use to Heavenly Court, so be it. If they are destroyed, they served their purpose. Jing Lan smiled, not minding at all as she asked, how many are left? Fairy Ziwei gave a detailed account. Jing Lan slightly frowned, 3 core immortal Gu are gone, many methods can't be used then. If I have to deal with Spectral Soul now, I will need at least 3 months. Fairy Ziwei was slightly disappointed. With her methods and the help of Star Constellation Chessboard, she would only need over 2 months to resolve this issue and recapture Spectral Soul. How about this? Spectral Soul is captured but his inheritor has been extremely active. Dang Hun Mountain's explosion was also his inheritor's work. Fairy Ziwei informed. Humph. Demonic scoundrels, they should all be killed. So you want me to get rid of Spectral Soul's inheritor? Tell me, where is this inheritor? I will flay his skin, pull out his tendons, and bring his head in front of Spectral Soul to let him enjoy the spectacle. Ha ha ha. Jing Lan laughed as her battle-intent soared. With Senior making a move, that Fang Yuan will have no hope left. As for his location, Fairy Ziwei smiled confidently, as long as Senior can wait a while, Junior will deduce it for you. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1554, Location Exposed. Chapter 1554, Location Exposed. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Connecting Heaven Gu. Xianxia Land Spirit connected to Treasure Yellow Heaven and quickly completed the Immortal Gu transaction with Fang Yuan. The exchange was extremely fast. In several blinks of an eye, they had both disconnected from Treasure Yellow Heaven. This is perceivable Dao Immortal Gu. Xianxia Land Spirit sized up the Immortal Gu in his hands. This Immortal Gu had a round head and a black body. It had many segments in its body. When Xianxia Land Spirit activated it, it started to shine in starlight. After a while, Xianxia Land Spirit's expression turned unsightly. They had made secret arrangements indeed. Using perceivable Dao Immortal Gu, Xianxia Land Spirit discovered many new Dao marks in the Blessed Land. These Dao marks interweaved together to form a mystical effect. This was a hidden arrangement done by Feng Jiuji's group when they invaded Xianxia Blessed Land. Fang Yuan had once been struck by Fairy Ziwei's inextinguishable star target. He had learned from this setback. Adding on that Feng Jiu had retreated so straightforwardly, with just a little deduction, Fang Yuan knew they had definitely left behind some secret measures to make the next invasion more convenient. Fang Yuan guessed right, we need to clean these Dao marks completely. When he returns, we will immediately relocate Xianxia Blessed Land. Xianxia Land Spirit mumbled. Although Feng Jiuji's group arrived at Xianxia Blessed Land with fixed immortal travel's help, Xianxia Blessed Land was now no longer safe in its current location. This decision was safe and also wise. Prince Feng Xian had yet to leave. If Xianxia Lan's spirit rashly moved the blessed land, there would definitely be a huge commotion and it would expose its true location. Wind blew at his face. Fang Yuan was like a sharp arrow that pierced through the sky, throwing the endless clouds behind him. He had wanted to recapture the upper extreme heavenly eagle, but his plan failed after running into Lu Weiyin. But it was not that he had no gains. He had to thank Heavenly Court for this. If not for this external pressure, Xianxia Lan's spirit absolutely would not have agreed to give him the refinement path true meaning. Even so, Fang Yuan had to use up all his breath on talking before he was barely able to persuade Xianxia Lan's spirit. After the communication was completed, Fang Yuan immediately set off towards Xianxia blessed land, preparing to take back Wisdom Gu and the refinement path true meaning. It was best for Wisdom Gu to not be transferred through Treasure Yellow Heaven. This famous rank 9 Gu would incite an extremely huge response. Although Heavenly Court knew about Wisdom Gu currently, them knowing of it and the whole world knowing of it were two completely different concepts. As for the refinement path true meaning, although Xianxia Lan's spirit agreed to give it Fang Yuan, he insisted on handing it to Fang Yuan in Xianxia blessed land and not through Treasure Yellow Heaven. Xianxia Lan's spirit also knew the danger of rashly moving Xianxia blessed land, and he was facing Heavenly Court on top of that, so he was facing huge mental pressure. Not only did he ask Fang Yuan to return, he also discussed with the Rockman tribe to borrow their rank 8 battle strength immemorial rock dragon to guard Xianxia blessed land. After returning, I am not only taking Wisdom Gu and obtaining refinement path true meaning, I will also have to use Light of Wisdom to decipher the immortal killer move Feng Jiu Gu used to invade Xianxia blessed land, and also repair the Super Gu formation. Furthermore, I was trapped by Lu Weiyin, but I also gained some insights. Especially at the third illusory dream. Maybe I can use the Light of Wisdom to completely comprehend these insights. Thinking of Lu Weiyin, Fang Yuan's gaze flickered. He was almost certain Lu Weiyin was an inheritor of Paradise Earth. Fang Yuan's current ability was not enough to deal with him. In fact, Fang Yuan only had rank 7 cultivation, and he mostly relied on reverse flow protection seal to deal with rank 8 Gu immortals. His other methods were not up to par for this task. What? Suddenly, Fang Yuan's expression changed as he sensed Ghost Official Garment shrinking rapidly and shaking like a candlelight in the wind. Not good, someone is deducing my location. And such a powerful wisdom path method, this is definitely the work of a wisdom path rank 8 great expert. Fang Yuan quickly activated Immortal Killer Move, Yama. At the next moment, his whole body began to transform, Ghost Official Garment and Ghostly Concealment began to link together. Ghost Official Garment was only a rank 7 Immortal Killer move, but after linking with the rank 9 Ghostly Concealment, it was able to use a slight amount of rank 9's power. It was Fairy Ziwei's turn to be surprised. She had been fully confident, but who could have thought her deduction of Fang Yuan's location to suddenly become countless times more difficult? How could this be? Fairy Ziwei frowned. What's wrong? Thunder Ghost True Monarch Jing Lan, who was at the side, asked. It is a bit complicated. I have Fang Yuan's Dark Limit Immortal Gu and also Gu Yu Fang Zheng, these are both crucial clues, but I actually still can't deduce Fang Yuan's location. Fairy Ziwei smiled, a pity, if it were before, I could only admit my defeat. But he caused Dang Hun Mountain to explode, although the origin is Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, he also participated in it and caused damage to Star Constellation Chessboard, I will definitely be able to deduce him. Saying so, Fairy Ziwei pinched her fingers, a translucent ripple suddenly appeared beside her from which a rank 8 Gu immortal walked out. Lady Ziwei, what can I do for you? This person was Chen Yi, he was originally meant to reinforce Feng Jiu Ji's group, but with Feng Jiu Gu returning, his task also ended and was called back to Heavenly Court by Fairy Ziwei. Come, use your Karma Divine Tree, I want to use your strength to deduce Fang Yuan's location. Fairy Ziwei commanded. Chen Yi bowed and accepted the order, immediately activating Karma Divine Tree. With the power of this legendary killer move, along with Star Constellation Chessboard, Fairy Ziwei finally made a breakthrough and deduced Fang Yuan's specific location. Damn it! The moment Fang Yuan's location was deduced, Yama suddenly detonated, exposing his true body. The link between ghostly concealment and ghost official garment completely collapsed. Ghostly concealment was safe and sound, but ghost official garment was almost destroyed. My location is exposed. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1555, Fang Yuan vs. Jing Lan. Chapter 1555, Fang Yuan vs. Jing Lan. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Being able to forcibly break my Yama killer move, and also after Langya blessed land was invaded, this is most likely Heavenly Court's doing. At that instant, countless thoughts moved in Fang Yuan's mind. Fang Zheng was captured, he is blood related to my rank 6-time path clone, but my clone is inside my sovereign immortal aperture. They should not be able to use this clue. My dark limit immortal Gu is in Heavenly Court's hands. This is an extremely significant clue, but it is not enough to destroy Yama with just this. So what method did Heavenly Court use? What crucial clues do they have on me? Fang Yuan flew rapidly while thinking. His location was exposed, staying at the same spot was definitely a bad decision. The important thing now was to constantly be on the move, while also restoring ghost official garment and thinking of ways to resolve this issue. Crack! Fang Yuan flew straight for many hours, when suddenly a thunderbolt flashed in the clear sky. The thunderbolt directly cleaved towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was already on guard, quickly evading. The thunderbolt crashed on the ground, the lightning concentrated into a human figure. The human figure was soon revealed. Thunder Ghost True Monarch Jing Lan in her pitch-black malevolent armor was half-crouching on the ground. Bzz bzz bzz. Countless small sparks were tangled around her armor. Her crash had formed a deep pit and the bottom of the pit was already scorched black by the heat, with tufts of white smoke rising from it. Jing Lan slowly stood up, her petite body was over 10 feet tall after wearing the armor, looking tall and bulky. Boom! Majestic rank 8 aura, firm as a mountain, flowed out of her. She slowly raised her head to look at Fang Yuan, saying frostily, "You are Fang Yuan. Where are you thinking of running to?" Central Continent rank 8 Gu immortal, moreover, looking at her attitude, she is likely from Heavenly Court. Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk slightly as he raised his alertness to maximum vigilance. Immortal killer move, Myriad Self. A bright light flashed past Fang Yuan's eyes as he valiantly made the first move against this unknown enemy. In an instant, countless Fang Yuan clones filled the sky. Jing Lan had only blinked and the cloudless clear sky was filled with countless Fang Yuan strength path phantoms. The large army shouted and charged towards Jing Lan like a tsunami. Jing Lan closed her eyes then opened it again, her black pupils turned azure and inexhaustible lightning seemed to circulate in them like a whirlpool. She looked all around her but did not discover Fang Yuan's true body. Familiar face, humph. Jing Lan gave a displeased grunt, she suddenly opened her mouth. Roar. With her roar, there were rumbles of thunder. With her as the center, the sound wave containing waves of blue lightning spread in all directions. Wherever they went, Fang Yuan's strength path phantoms would be destroyed within a breath of time. In just one move, the sky was clear once again. Fang Yuan's strength path phantoms were completely destroyed, only his true body remained. Rank 8 lightning path. Why do I still sense soul path aura from her body? Fang Yuan slightly frowned. He was not startled at the destruction of Myriad Self was only a probe. When facing a rank 8 Gu immortal, no matter how many Myriad Self phantoms there were, they would not do anything. Immortal killer move, ignited thought flying rock. Immortal killer move, purple thought perception starlight. Fang Yuan pushed his palms forward, countless meteorites that had long blazing tails, immediately smashed towards Jing Lan. After finishing this move, he clenched his right hand and suddenly waved it, instantly, innumerable bright purple starlight specks flew down. Jing Lan's lightning eyes showed disdain when she saw ignited thought flying rock, but when she saw purple thought perception starlight, her pupils slightly shrunk. This is an extraordinary killer move, I must evade it. Jing Lan immediately turned into lightning, shooting straight towards Fang Yuan. Fast. She was so fast that even Fang Yuan showed a trace of astonishment. Moreover, this lightning was extremely flexible and did not blindly rampage around. When it came across the ignited thought flying rocks, it charged straight through them, but when it encountered specks of purple thought perception starlight, it dodged and detoured around them. Fang Yuan's attacks were endless, but Jing Lan was unstoppable. After turning around several times in the air, she arrived before Fang Yuan. Come! Fang Yuan gritted his teeth as he transformed into ancient sword dragon and ferociously clawed at Jing Lan. Jing Lan was covered in a thick and huge armor, but when compared to Fang Yuan's sword dragon, she looked tiny. But she was extremely fierce. With a deep shout, she did not dodge and instead used the horn on her helmet to stab at the dragon's claws. Boom! With a loud sound, both sides were forced back. Fang Yuan's claws turned weak and numb from the recoil force. And as for Jing Lan, the horn on her helmet was completely broken and the whole helmet was filled with cracks. She even felt slight dizziness. This is reverse flow protection seal. Jing Lan was aware of it. She had set off from Heavenly Court and had obtained detailed information about Fang Yuan from Fairy Ziwei. As such, she was not surprised at this scene. Everything was within her expectations. She laughed as she once again charged forward, the lightning surrounding her bombarded Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan fought her with no fear. Both sides exchanged moves, they fought intensely without any rest, even the sky turned colorless from their combat, the world was desolate. Fang Yuan relied on reverse flow protection seal to fight evenly with Jing Lan, but he had to constantly retreat while fighting. This person clearly knows about reverse flow protection seal. She is using just enough power that I have to use reverse flow protection seal to block it, but it is not so high for the reverse flow protection seal to reflect it. That's what makes this person dangerous. Fang Yuan had a bad feeling in his heart. Although Jing Lan was unable to deal with Fang Yuan, this was only temporary. She definitely had a wisdom path great expert behind her who was closely observing this battle and continuously analyzing Fang Yuan's reverse flow protection seal. Fang Yuan's reverse flow protection seal was being constantly analyzed and deduced. Once this reached a certain degree, they would be able to deduce a killer move that targeted reverse flow protection seal. Once this killer move broke reverse flow protection seal, it would be Fang Yuan's end. This person is constantly changing her methods, probing my reverse flow protection seal from every aspect. Her intention is clear. She dual cultivates lightning path and soul path. Her lightning path attacks are incomparably swift and powerful, while her soul path methods are condensed into that armor which has powerful defense and rapid recovery. Retreat. Fang Yuan activated Myriad Dragon, disguising himself as one of them with familiar face. The Myriad Dragon did not attack Jing Lan, but scattered in all directions. Where are you running? Jing Lan shouted. Thunder rumbled in the sky as countless lightning bolts fell down and destroyed the dragons. Myriad Dragon's power was much higher than Myriad self, but it was nothing when compared to this rank 8 killer move. Fang Yuan's true body was quickly discovered. Jing Lan gave chase, continuing to send attacks. Fang Yuan began to constantly flee, rarely attacking back. This is truly a tortoise shell. Jing Lan was rather vexed. Fang Yuan clearly had rank 7 cultivation, but with reverse flow protection seal, it was like he was covered with reflective thorns that prevented others from using their full power. Still not done. Jing Lan transmitted her voice to Fairy Ziwei. Fairy Ziwei was far away in Heavenly Court but was closely paying attention to the battle here, and was using Heavenly Court's wisdom path formation to decipher reverse flow protection seal with all her strength. As for Star Constellation chessboard, it had suffered huge damage and would not be of much use for some time. There are some results, please listen, Senior. Fairy Ziwei taught a killer move to Jing Lan. Jing Lan immediately attempted the killer move. After a few failures, she was finally able to activate it, which resulted in a mysterious light. The gray profound light struck Fang Yuan. His reverse flow protection seal immediately started to ripple and shake. They have already deduced a method. Fang Yuan's heart tensed, but fortunately, this killer move was only rank 6 and was unable to damage reverse flow protection seal. Fairy Ziwei's eyes flickered with starlight, firmly memorizing the effect of the gray profound light. This was both a success and also a further probe against reverse flow protection seal. Haha, Fang Yuan, it was not easy for you to create such a killer move. A pity that you are going to die today. Jing Lan laughed heartily. Her speed was terrifyingly fast, way faster than Fang Yuan. If this situation continued to go on, Fang Yuan's reverse flow protection seal would be deciphered sooner or later. Don't you have the ancient battle formation omnidirectional travel? Are you not going to use it? Jing Lan laughed. With a rumbling sound, she threw a lightning bolt at Fang Yuan's back once again. Fang Yuan did not utter a sound, he concentrated fully on escaping. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1556, Fang Yuan's Death. Chapter 1556, Fang Yuan's Death. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Boom. Thunder rumbled as a 10 feet thick bolt of blue lightning fell down from the sky and cleaved at Fang Yuan's back like an axe. Fang Yuan was transformed into an ancient sword dragon and had reverse flow protection seal. When this lightning struck him, an unstoppable force rushed in, knocking him down from the sky. The lightning was reflected back at Thunder Ghost True Monarch Jing Lan, but Jing Lan just sneered as the whirlpool in her pupils spiraled and actually absorbed the reflected lightning. Fang Yuan almost crashed into the ground, but he raised his head with all his might and swung his dragon body. After narrowly brushing past a tall mountain, he soared into the sky again. Little earthworm. Jing Lan sneered, pouncing towards Fang Yuan once again. She was extremely fast. Fang Yuan's ancient sword dragon transformation, even with sword escape immortal Gu, could not match her speed. Fang Yuan's speed was actually already extremely fast, it was at the peak level among rank 7 Gu immortals. Only Hui Feng Zi and a few other rank 7s could contest Fang Yuan in this aspect. Jing Lan, however, was a genuine rank 8 Gu immortal who was highly proficient in movement. Her speed was at the peak of rank 8 Gu immortals. Compared to her, Fang Yuan, who had peak rank 7 speed, was simply too slow. Try this move. Jing Lan easily flew to Fang Yuan's back and aimed her palm at Fang Yuan's dragon head, a pale mysterious light shooting out of her palm. The power of this mysterious light simply could not compare to the earlier lightning axe, but when it struck reverse flow protection seal, it immediately incited a huge change. Water splashed out of reverse flow protection seal. Reverse flow protection seal's thickness was reducing at a visible rate. Fang Yuan's expression changed intensely, he shook his tail rapidly, fleeing with all his strength. Jing Lan laughed loudly while thinking, this junior Ziwei is amazing, in just a short while, she has already deduced a rank 7 immortal killer move that is specially used to break this Fang Yuan's reverse flow protection seal. It is a pity that this move can only be used once in a while. There is a time restriction, otherwise I would have already decapitated this little demon. Just as she was thinking this, Jing Lan's expression suddenly changed. Far away in the horizon, an enormous wall, seemingly supporting the sky, was gradually being revealed. This enormous wall was actually a regional wall. The 5 regions were all covered with layers of membrane that formed each region's heaven and earth, while also separating each other. These were the regional walls. The regional wall before Jing Lan was purple-black, it was misty and chaotic, and gave rise to a feeling of oppression. Southern Borders Miasma Regional Wall. So this little demon wanted to escape into the regional wall. Jing Lan immediately realized. It was extremely difficult for Gu immortals to cross regional walls. Often, the higher their cultivation, the higher the difficulty in crossing the regional wall. After entering a regional wall, Gu immortals would not only be met with rejection force, they would also face backlash when using any method. It was already not easy for rank 6 Gu immortals to cross a regional wall. It was highly dangerous for rank 7. And for rank 8, the difficulty was extremely great. There were basically no rank 8 Gu immortals who would ask for trouble by walking into a regional wall. They were more willing to take a detour by going through Black Heaven or White Heaven. This little demon is only rank 7, he will have the territorial advantage in the regional wall. I can't let it happen. At this thought, Jing Lan's brows stood up, her eyes shone with sharp light as she flew in front of Fang Yuan and blocked him. Fang Yuan fell into a bitter battle. He had been fleeing all along before to get close to the regional wall. He had a huge advantage in the regional wall. The sovereign immortal body could freely move about in the regional wall. That meant he would be safe if he entered the regional wall. But Jing Lan simply did not give him this opportunity. Her attacks were like waves making Fang Yuan constantly change directions. However, Jing Lan's speed completely outstripped his and would always obstruct him from ahead. Right now, Fang Yuan was not far from the regional wall, but because of Jing Lan, it felt like the regional wall was far away in the horizon. Immortal Killer Move, Myriad Dragon. Immortal Killer Move, Familiar Face. With no choice, Fang Yuan could only use these two moves together. He disguised his identity, lunging forward amidst the scattered dragons. This. Jing Lan's eyes opened wide in anger. She had no good way to deal with this. She had already tried before. Her investigative killer move simply could not detect Fang Yuan's disguise. But she had a huge arsenal of moves, and soon slaughtered all the myriad dragons, forcing Fang Yuan's true body out. However, Fang Yuan's true body had already taken the chance to move ahead by several li, and was much more closer to the regional wall. Jing Lan turned into lightning and flashed by, appearing before Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan gave a bitter sigh, once again activating the two killer moves. Myriad Dragon might be powerful, but in front of Jing Lan, it was reduced to a veil to disguise his body. Against the power of the domineering lightning, it looked increasingly fragile. Like this, Fang Yuan continued to lunge forward, while Jing Lan continued to obstruct him. There was not much distance from the regional wall, but both sides were constantly engaged in fierce battle. Fang Yuan had to use a lot of effort to move forward each time. Found you. Jing Lan smiled malevolently as she destroyed all the dragons once again, exposing Fang Yuan's true body. She pushed forward her palm from which shot out a pale mysterious light. The mysterious light immediately cut off a large portion of reverse flow protection seal. There was only a thin layer of reverse flow protection seal left. Good. There is much more improvement this time. Jing Lan laughed, transmitting her voice of admiration to Fairy Ziwei. Fairy Ziwei smiled. We have already been probing reverse flow protection seal long ago. The previous results along with the information from Senior's fight have already become a key to qualitative change. This kind of deduction is always difficult at first but easy later on. Now I will deduce a rank 8 killer move, making use of Senior's Immortal Gu, to restrain reverse flow protection seal. Good, I am waiting. Jing Lan responded to Fairy Ziwei while looking at Fang Yuan entering the regional wall. There was nothing that could be done about it. Jing Lan could not detect Fang Yuan's true body. His two killer moves were also greatly effective. Although she obstructed him many times, she could only let him enter the regional wall in the end. But, you think you are safe in the regional wall? A mere regional wall, how could it block me, Thunder Ghost True Monarch? Humph. Black chi gushed out of Jing Lan's nose. The black chi rapidly expanded and spread throughout her whole body, covering her in a thick black cloud ball. Countless ghosts of the dead roared inside the black cloud and fought each other. Every time they fought, they would produce firm blue lightning. Jing Lan controlled the black cloud ball and entered straight into the regional wall, still chasing after Fang Yuan. She actually entered here. Fang Yuan got a huge shock. Kid, your trick might have been effective against others. But against me, you are simply playing tricks in front of an expert. Back then, I used regional walls to fight Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Other rank 8s don't have methods to enter deep into regional walls, but I have. It is your bad luck to have run into me. Jing Lan shouted non-stop while the black cloud ball let out countless lightning bolts that landed on Fang Yuan's ancient sword dragon transformation. Fang Yuan cried out in pain. Reverse flow protection seal was already broken pretty badly and could no longer reflect all the damage. But Jing Lan was also not any better off. Blood flooded out from the corners of her lips as she felt bouts of dizziness. Using killer moves in regional wall would result in backlash. Fortunately she had a phantom aperture which only had immortal goo and immortal essence, unlike normal immortal apertures containing large amount of resources. If there were other resources, they would have definitely suffered greatly at this moment. Boom boom boom. Lightning bolts smashed at Fang Yuan's body. Mixed in among them was pale mysterious light that constantly broke down reverse flow protection seal. Even in the regional wall, Fang Yuan was unable to escape from Jing Lan and was being chased closely. Fang Yuan's injuries became increasingly severe. His sparkling silver scales had already lost their luster by now, blood stained half of his body, his horn was broken, and his dragon claws were fractured at many areas. The black cloud ball around Jing Lan had also mostly dissipated, exposing her armor. Her face was pale, but her spirits were lively as she fixed her gaze on Fang Yuan, vowing to kill this demon. Okay, the rank 8 killer move to break reverse flow protection seal has finally been deduced. At this moment, Fairy Zi Wei's voice came. Jing Lan was joyous. Fairy Zi Wei reminded her, this move is very powerful. I have to ask Senior to use it cautiously. The backlash won't be small if the activation fails. Don't worry. Jing Lan was doing multiple things at once, immediately beginning to attempt activating this killer move. She activated it 3 times, but every time resulted in a failure. Fortunately, she had plenty of experience, timely stopping whenever she felt something wrong. The backlash was indeed powerful. Her armor was mostly destroyed, revealing her body inside. At the 4th attempt, she finally succeeded. Fang Yuan, go and die. Jing Lan flew above Fang Yuan's head. A vast beam of light shot down towards Fang Yuan's head. Fang Yuan simply did not have time to dodge it. He could only watch as this pillar descended. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1557, Counterattack. Chapter 1557, Counterattack. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Die. Jing Lan gave a loud shout, her eyes shining with joy as she watched the beam of light bombard Fang Yuan. She was a rank 8 Gu immortal with extremely high battle strength, but she had to live under Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's shadow her whole life. She had woken up because of Dang Hun Mountain's self-detonation, and when she saw Spectral Soul captured and resisting futilely, the feelings which she had hidden in the depths of her heart surged out. Shock, anger, pity, joy, and also, fear. Spectral Soul, you were once so tough, but now you have become a prisoner. I am going to kill your inheritor now. I awakened at a really good time. By killing your inheritor, I shall eliminate the fear towards you that is rooted in the depths of my heart. Then, I will bring Fang Yuan's head before you, and you will also be killed by me. Ha ha ha, there will be a day when you will die by my hands. This is unbelievable, it is like a dream, ha ha ha. Thunder Ghost True Monarch Jing Lan was laughing madly inside her mind. Something is wrong, quickly stop now. Right at this time, Jing Lan suddenly heard a voice. It is too late. Jing Lan's eyes were filled with bloodthirst and killing intent, but soon she was slightly stunned. This voice is somewhat familiar, right? It is that Junior Zi Wei. So it was not Fang Yuan's backup. Wait a moment, what did she mean? This thought crossed Jing Lan's mind. The bloodthirsty intent in Jing Lan's eyes immediately dissipated by a large degree, revealing clarity. She quickly retreated. Too late. Fang Yuan's expression suddenly changed, his previously panicking and fearful look instantly disappeared, replaced by certainty of success and fighting spirit that soared to the skies. He shook his dragon body. Instead of dodging, he moved towards the sky, directly crashing towards Jing Lan's fatal killer move. The beam violently struck Fang Yuan's body, but Fang Yuan's dragon body was covered in a layer of reverse flow protection seal which had a completely different appearance at this moment. It had not only recovered its original state, it was also flowing with traces of mysterious light. Reverse flow protection seal had a completely new transformation at this crucial moment. Variation move. The beam of light could not break this reverse flow protection seal and was reflected back smoothly. What? Jing Lan's pupils shrunk. Even though she had a lot of battle experience, her expression revealed a frightened look at this moment. Earlier in the battle, she had fought Fang Yuan while holding back. Even if the abilities bounced back, she could absorb them or endure the damage. But this attack was completely different. She had used this move with all her strength, and this move by itself was a rank 8 immortal killer move. If she had succeeded in this move, it was certain to not only break reverse flow protection seal, but also kill Fang Yuan. But now, her full-strength killer move was actually completely reflected. Jing Lan wanted to give Fang Yuan no time to dodge, so the distance between the two were extremely close. Right now, Jing Lan wanted to dodge but did not have enough time. Her mood was also intensely fluctuating because of the shadow of spectral soul demon venerable rooted deep in her heart, and there was also another important reason: her state was far from perfect. She had rank 8 cultivation. Although she had the ability to enter deep into the regional wall, her body was not the sovereign immortal body after all. She would suffer damage from the backlash. While chasing Fang Yuan and gaining the upper hand, she was filled with satisfaction and hatred, so she did not sense it. But now that she was trying to dodge, she shockingly discovered, her state was poor. With all these reasons piled up, Jing Lan had no time to dodge and could only face the beam of light head-on. Boom! The light bombarded Jing Lan's body, erupting with glaring radiance like the sun had descended on the battlefield. Even Fang Yuan, who had transformed into an ancient sword dragon, had to firmly close his eyes. But at the next moment, the radiance dimmed a little. Fang Yuan endured the pain to forcibly open his eyes. Kill! He barely managed to distinguish Jing Lan's extremely tiny and fragile body within the endless white radiance. Her ferocious and thick whole-body armor had completely disintegrated, revealing her physical immortal body. Being hit by her own full-strength attack, Jing Lan's eyes rolled back into her head as she fell unconscious, blood flowing out from all the pores in her body. Fang Yuan opened his mouth revealing sharp fangs, as he moved his dragon body and charged at Jing Lan. With his limbs expanding to an exaggerated degree, Fang Yuan slashed down with his claws. Damn it! Damn it! I actually fell for his scheme. In Heavenly Court, Fairy Z Wei's eyes were wide open in anger and self-blame. He had actually modified reverse flow protection seal to this degree, creating a new variation move. The previous reverse flow protection seal was a trap to deal with me. Once I deduced it, he would use the variation move to form a completely different reverse flow protection seal. Fang Yuan, inconceivable, how could his wisdom path attainment be so deep? Fairy Z Wei had all along thought of Fang Yuan highly, but this fact in front of her was a huge slap to her face. She had thought she held the upper hand. Since the Battle of Reverse Flow River, she had begun gathering information and put great efforts in deducing reverse flow protection seal. In the later event when Feng Jiugu chased after and fought Fang Yuan, she had been deducing with all her strength from behind the scenes, until Thunder Ghost True Monarch set off this time. She felt she had accumulated enough and it was finally time to reap the gains, but she had never expected it all to be Fang Yuan's trap and scheme. The wisdom path attainment Fang Yuan showed far surpassed Fairy Z Wei's expectations. But how is this possible? Wait, did he borrow the power of Wisdom Gu? But Wisdom Gu is clearly wild. Only rank 9 venerables can refine this Gu and use it. Fang Yuan is only rank 7, and there is also no one with such capability in the whole of Langya sect. Even if they had rank 9 immortal essence, it would require a venerable's will to battle Wisdom Gu's will. In the records in Heavenly Court, after Star Constellation Immortal Venerable became rank 9, she had spent close to 100 years to subdue and refine rank 9 Wisdom Gu. Fairy Ziwei was baffled. Thin beads of sweat covered her forehead, and in just a few moments, she was actually perspiring. Senior Jing Lan definitely suffered severe damage from this attack. She must hold on. Fairy Ziwei had deduced this rank 8 killer move and was of course aware of its power. The investigative killer move she had put on Jing Lan was also destroyed by this attack. Fairy Ziwei had already lost her surveillance of the battle situation. She immediately sent Chen Yi and others to the regional wall battlefield to reinforce Thunder Ghost True Monarch. She herself, however, stayed in Heavenly Court. Duke Long was completely focused on nurturing Feng Jin Huang. He was not here. Spectral Soul was putting up stiff resistance and needed to be monitored at all times. Heavenly Court also needed Fairy Ziwei to oversee the whole situation. Crack crack. A series of crisp sounds resounded from Jing Lan's body. Fang Yuan's sharp dragon claws fiercely stabbed Jing Lan's chest. But at the crucial moment, armor interwoven with dense amounts of lightning appeared in front of Jing Lan's chest. When the dragon claws landed on this armor, it was like striking the hardest steel. This was a rank 8 passive defensive killer move. Even if the Gu Immortal was unconscious, it could activate by itself if there was an attack. If it were before, Fang Yuan would be like a rat fighting a bull. But now, this lightning armor already looked badly damaged from one attack. It was not in its complete form. Thus, Fang Yuan used all his strength and tore down at it. The dragon claws steadily slashed down, cutting down Jing Lan's flesh from her left shoulder to the right side of her waist. Wherever the claws passed by, lightning flashed as the lightning armor was torn apart. 3 of Jing Lan's hard rib bones were also severed by Fang Yuan's claws. The dragon claws were completely intact. Immortal Essence was rapidly expended to maintain the reverse flow protection seal that steadfastly protected Fang Yuan. Without this layer of protection, the dragon claws might have fractured into countless pieces just from cutting down half the way. The intense pain woke up Jing Lan. She was indeed a highly experienced fighter, a rank 8 great expert who had resisted Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. In that instant, she realized her situation and let out a shrill scream. This scream was not a random scream, but an immortal killer move. Fang Yuan only frowned. He was completely safe. On the contrary, this attack was completely reflected back to Jing Lan by reverse flow protection seal. Jing Lan's eardrums immediately burst. Her mind fell into chaos as a huge amount of blood surged internally in her head. Blood surged out of even her eyeballs, dyeing her vision red. Jing Lan had extraordinary battle accomplishments, but maybe because she had immediately set off to fight Fang Yuan after waking up from her hibernation without loosening up and retraining her skills. Or maybe because she was startled awake from the pain and after seeing her severe injuries, she subconsciously reacted to protect herself too quickly, forgetting Fang Yuan's reverse flow protection seal had already underwent a complete change, which led to her making this mistake and inflicting severe damage on herself. Taking advantage of her situation to kill her. Fang Yuan's dragon eyes shone with a cruel and sinister light. He swung his tail, ruthlessly knocking down Jing Lan from the air. Boom, the ground shook. Jing Lan was smashed to the ground like a flesh ball, creating a 10 feet wide deep crater. Damn it! Jing Lan gritted her teeth, struggling to get up. Her injuries were extremely severe. Her armor was gone and 3 of her rib bones were split. Her beating heart and the constantly expanding and shrinking lungs could be seen from outside. Roar! At the next moment, Fang Yuan opened his mouth as wide as possible and let out his dragon breath. Sword-like dragon breath. Dragon breath with unparalleled sharpness gushed out. The silver-white dragon breath fell down heavily upon Jing Lan's body like a waterfall. Jing Lan had just stood up and the thoughts in her mind had mostly settled and the dragon breath bombarded her. With a plop, she was forced to kneel down on one knee. I was actually forced to kneel down by a rank 7 Gu Immortal. A strong sensation of humiliation filled Jing Lan's heart, anger and hatred surging within her mind. Ah! Jing Lan roared towards the sky, and along with her furious roar, blue lightning erupted out of her countless pores. Lightning interwove together before fiercely expanding. Rumble. Endless lightning formed into a hemispherical light barrier that repelled everything in the surroundings. Within its area, be it Fang Yuan's dragon breath or the surrounding miasma, they were all burnt to a crisp by the lightning. Rank 8 might is indeed not ordinary. But this attack should be your last burst of strength, right? You are already a spent force. Myriad Dragon. Fang Yuan roared. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1558, Retreat. Chapter 1558, Retreat. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Fang Yuan activated his strongest offensive method. Dragons roared and countless silver scales filled the sky. Myriad dragons flew and besieged Jing Lan, who was at the center of the deep crater. Damn it. Jing Lan clenched her teeth, fury burning in her eyes. After the attack just now, her aura fell to the bottom. Myriad dragons pounced at her, but she easily killed them. These little worms can't do anything. Fang Yuan, you coward, come, let's have a real fight. Jing Lan roared. Fang Yuan sneered, his true body deeply concealed in a corner. Myriad Dragon. Myriad Dragon. Myriad Dragon. Myriad Dragon. Disregarding the expenditure of immortal essence, Fang Yuan activated Myriad Dragon Killer move in a frenzy. Jing Lan's aura weakened rapidly, she kept on roaring and provoking Fang Yuan, but he did not move his true body. Myriad Dragon was a peak rank 7 killer move, but it was indeed not much for Jing Lan. Because Jing Lan still had abundant immortal essence and her immortal Gu were also intact. But every time Jing Lan used a killer move, she would suffer backlash from the regional wall. She had methods to weaken this backlash, but with her current severe injuries, any backlash could be fatal. And also, she still had to use her healing methods, but how could her injuries be so easy to heal? A Gu immortal's injuries were difficult to treat. Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal body was the only exception in the world. After failing to lure out Fang Yuan's true body, Jing Lan could only choose to break through. Myriad dragons could not stop her even when she was heavily injured. This was the Thunder Ghost True Monarch who had such astonishing battle strength that she had once stood up to Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Fang Yuan sighed, knowing that he was stronger in defense. Although his battle strength had barely reached into rank 8 level, it was not enough to take the life of an expert like Jing Lan. Gu immortals of this level could not die so easily. Unless they were ambushed and trapped in immortal battlefield killer move, moreover, they had to be killed before the battlefield killer move was broken. Naturally, from another angle, Fang Yuan was unable to kill Jing Lan, but Jing Lan was also unable to kill Fang Yuan. Even if she was faster, she could not stop Fang Yuan from entering the regional wall. But even so, Fang Yuan was clearly aware that even if he could not kill Jing Lan, he still had to hunt her down. I must weaken this person's battle strength as much as possible so that I can gain as much time as possible later. At this thought, Fang Yuan pointed his finger. Immortal Killer Move, Directional Confusion Fog. Originally, the fog was purple and was not big, although it could confuse even rank 8 Gu immortals. After Fang Yuan modified it, this move had no effect on rank 8 Gu immortals, but it had an amplified effect on rank 7 and below Gu immortals. Not only did the color change, the range was greatly expanded, but the duration shortened drastically. After the battle in Green Ghost Desert, Fang Yuan had once again modified this move with his high Theft Path attainment level, adding in many Theft Path Mortal Gu and even adding Great Thief Immortal Gu as its core to steal the enemy's perception ability. Thus, its might had soared and could affect rank 8 Gu immortals once again. In an instant, large amounts of fog spread around Jing Lan, messing up her sense of direction. Fang Yuan took this chance to send out the myriad dragons once again to surround and attack her. Oh no! I lack many of my immortal Gu, I cannot even break a killer move of this level now. Jing Lan tried many methods, but shockingly found she could not deal with this killer move properly. What's going on? Fang Yuan was observing the whole situation, and was surprised when he saw Jing Lan unable to break through. After this killer move was modified by Fang Yuan, its activation was slightly more convenient, but it was still only a rank 7 move. Fang Yuan did not even have the thought of obstructing Jing Lan with this move, his real thought had been to delay Jing Lan for some time. But he was surprised to see that Jing Lan actually could not break out of the fog. From outside the fog, Fang Yuan could clearly sense waves of immortal Gu aura. This was Jing Lan constantly trying various methods to break the fog. Her moves were not completely ineffective, but they had little effect, only thinning the directional confusion fog by a small degree. Sharp light erupted in Fang Yuan's eyes as he immediately continued to activate directional confusion fog. The fog continued to pile up layer upon layers, firmly trapping Jing Lan inside. She really can't break out. Fang Yuan gave a bitter smile. If he had known this before, he would have already used this move and did not need to flee so miserably. However, any killer move's effect would decrease if they were used multiple times. Not only would it make others be on guard, it would also reveal traces that could be deduced and deciphered. So Fang Yuan leaving this killer move until now was a wise choice. It was just that he had not expected it to actually be able to trap Jing Lan. This was a pleasant surprise. This is problematic. Jing Lan also realized this as she truly started to feel the aura of death approaching. Kill. Countless sword dragons pierced into directional confusion fog and attacked Jing Lan from all directions. Jing Lan could not break out the fog, instantly falling in a bitter fight. The regional wall was still rejecting her. Every time she used a killer move, she would suffer a backlash. Am I, Jing Lan, the Grand Thunder Ghost True Monarch, going to die here? As time passed, Jing Lan's heart started to sink as the situation turned increasingly unfavorable for her. No, I need to hold on, I can still fight. Even if I die, I will bring down Fang Yuan with me. Jing Lan looked at her chest wounds were the largest and exposed her heart. Her heart was extremely unusual, every time it beat, it let out threads of purple lightning. This was her final trump card. Such valiant battle strength. Even after being so heavily injured, she can still persevere and it even looks like she has enough strength left. Moreover, her will is unbreakable, even though I secretly used so many wisdom path methods. After attacking for a good while, Fang Yuan heaved a sigh and gave up. Time was extremely important now. Fang Yuan needed to deduce and modify Ghost Official Garment as soon as possible. Although the situation was completely advantageous to Fang Yuan, Heavenly Court would not just watch by. Once their reinforcements arrived, it would be Fang Yuan's calamity then. There was even the possibility that Thunder Ghost True Monarch came with other Gu immortals, but that her speed was too fast and left her companions far behind. Immediately making the decision, Fang Yuan left, but he did not forget to add in many uses of Myriad Dragon and Directional Confusion Fog before leaving. Retreat. Fang Yuan immediately moved deeper into the regional wall. The 5 regions' regional walls were rather safe areas for Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan moved while deducing the modifications of Ghost Official Garment. But soon, he found that no matter how he modified Ghost Official Garment, its limit was still rank 7. Instead, it was better to deepen the connection between it and Ghostly Concealment. Ghostly Concealment is a rank 9 killer move. Although it belongs to Theft Path, it has Ghost in its name and is closely related to Soul Path as well since it blocks the perception of souls. Yama is the correct way to go. I can raise Ghost Official Garment to a much higher level by borrowing the strength from Ghostly Concealment. After finding the correct direction, Fang Yuan immediately began to deduce. He had plenty of wisdom path methods and his attainment level was also high enough. and his theft path attainment level was the one which gave him the most crucial support. Like this, after several days and several nights, Fang Yuan finally finished his deductions, activating Yama once again. This completely new Yama killer move made the connection between ghostly concealment and ghost official garment much more close. Previously, these two killer moves rejected each other, but now, they were beginning to merge together, and the rejection between them was completely gone. Success! Fang Yuan carefully felt the effects, and clenched his fists in joy. He was once again shielded from Heavenly Court's deductions, making his situation turn from dangerous to safe. But if he cancelled Yama, he would once again be exposed to Heavenly Court's deductions. Fang Yuan quickly moved towards northern plains. Maintaining the new Yama took a lot of immortal essence. And he had already spent an enormous amount of immortal essence in the fight with Thunder Ghost True Monarch. His immortal essence reserves were almost empty now. In this battle, Fang Yuan had activated Myriad Dragon multiple times and also used Directional Confusion Fog an unprecedentedly high amount of times. These immortal killer moves expended immortal essence. Furthermore, he had also spent a lot of immortal essence to deduce the new Yama. Altogether, Fang Yuan had suffered huge losses in this battle, but it was not that he had no gains. Preserving his life was the greatest gain. Besides this, there was the new Yama and 3 rib bones of Thunder Ghost True Monarch. These 3 rib bones were cut off by my dragon claws. Every one of them is a rare immortal material. But they originate from Thunder Ghost True Monarch. I don't dare to use them. It is better to put them in Treasure Yellow Heaven. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1559, Number 1 Rank 7 Expert. Chapter 1559, Number 1 Rank 7 Expert. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Heavenly Court. In a vast hall, Fairy Zi-Wei slowly opened her eyes, stopping her deductions as she heaved a sigh. Fang Yuan's wisdom path attainment is remarkable. He is protected from my methods once again. Rank 8 Gu Immortal Chen Yi was standing to the side, maintaining the killer move Karma Divine Tree to help Fairy Zi-Wei in her deductions. At this time, he had a complex expression as he said, "Lady Zi-Wei, there is something I need to report to you." "What is it?" Chen Yi was only helping from the side, while Fairy Zi-Wei was fully focused in deducing Fang Yuan, so Chen Yi was the first to discover Fang Yuan's action. He immediately reported, 3 rib bones of Thunder Ghost True Monarch are being put for sale in Treasure Yellow Heaven. What? Fairy Zi-Wei's expression immediately changed. She immediately connected to Treasure Yellow Heaven and sure enough, saw the 3 rib bones being put for sale. It had already gathered the attention of many Gu immortal wills. Unimaginable, this demon Fang Yuan already has such battle strength. Sigh, his growth is too fast, he is already a demonic path overlord of this generation. Fang Yuan is an otherworldly demon, and has used Spring-Autumn Cicada to rebirth. He naturally has an enormous advantage in cultivation. I recognize her, this is Heavenly Court's Gu Immortal Thunder Ghost True Monarch. Who could have thought she would actually be suppressed by Fang Yuan? Thunder Ghost True Monarch Jing Lan, this is an old senior, she is still alive. So much for Central Continent's Heavenly Court being regarded as the number 1 human force. They have all along been trying to capture Fang Yuan, and even sent a rank 8 Gu Immortal, but look at this, Fang Yuan actually beat her so miserably. Gu Immortal wills were endlessly conversing with each other. Fairy Zi-Wei's body began to tremble from anger. Fang Yuan had not only put the rib bones for sale, he had also used some methods to continuously display his battle with Jing Lan on loop. Naturally, he only chose to play the part where he had successfully counterattacked and pummeled Jing Lan. Do we report this to Thunder Ghost True Monarch? Chen Yi inquired. Jing Lan had beaten back the myriad dragons and got rid of the directional confusion fog with much difficulty, but when she came out, Fang Yuan had already long since left without even leaving behind a trace. Although Fairy Ziwei could still deduce Fang Yuan's location at that time, Jing Lan's battle strength had weakened extremely, her state was not optimal and she needed to recuperate urgently. When the reinforcements arrived later and joined with her, she once again began to chase after Fang Yuan. Unfortunately, the distance between her and Fang Yuan was already greatly enlarged. Fang Yuan was deep within the depths of the regional wall. Jing Lan continued to give chase, but her reinforcements did not have methods to enter deep into the regional wall and could only stay at the boundary. Jing Lan was not resigned to this defeat. Filled with anger and humiliation, she continued to chase without rest. But right at that time, Fairy Ziwei was unable to deduce Fang Yuan anymore. Jing Lan also thus lost her target. Ziwei! Where the hell is that demon Fang Yuan? Jing Lan transmitted her voice. She was burning with rage, so her tone was very blunt. What should have been easy prey actually caused her to land in such an extremely miserable situation with serious injuries. How could the proud Jing Lan accept this fact? She gritted her teeth, desperately wanting to kill Fang Yuan and erase her shame. Fairy Ziwei was silent for a moment before slowly informing Jing Lan. What? Even you lost him? Jing Lan was furious and discontented. Fang Yuan's wisdom path attainment is already no longer the same as before. But he will go to Langya blessed land no matter what. We have already made some arrangements there. Although we failed to capture this scoundrel, we have also made huge gains. Not only did we waste a large amount of his immortal essence, we also forced him to reveal many trump cards. How could a Gu immortal like him be dealt with in one battle? Fairy Ziwei gently persuaded Jing Lan. Jing Lan was silent, standing on the spot. After a while, she heaved a long sigh, her anger already gone. I underestimated him. This person is astonishingly talented. He is indeed worthy of being the person chosen by Heaven's will and Shadow Sect. Next time we fight, I won't make the same mistake. Jing Lan was not a reckless person. After being reminded by Fairy Ziwei, she immediately regained her calm and the demeanor of a heavenly court expert, frankly admitting her mistake. Compared to Fang Yuan, there is an even more troublesome matter. Fairy Ziwei tactfully informed Jing Lan of the matter in Treasure Yellow Heaven. The calm mind that Jing Lan just regained immediately surged with waves of anger. What? This guy actually dared to sell my rib bones? Outrageous, simply outrageous. Jing Lan immediately connected to Treasure Yellow Heaven, and sure enough, saw her own rib bones being put for sale. Anger surged to her head, and her eyes turned bloodshot. Soon after, when Jing Lan saw the projection of the scenes where Fang Yuan pummeled her, she almost crushed her teeth. Damn that guy, when he ends up in my hands later, I will tear off his skin, pull out his tendons, and grind his bones till they turn to dust. But, this kid Fang Yuan actually put them for sale. He is indeed very cautious. Also displaying only that small portion of the battle, this guy has no shame. Jing Lan breathed roughly, and with some effort, calmed down and began to think. He definitely expended a lot of resources in this battle. Did his foundation get damaged so he is selling these 3 bones to replenish it? Then let me fulfill your wish and buy them. On one hand, Jing Lan wanted to buy the rib bones to connect them back. They would have an extremely remarkable effect on the healing. On the other hand, letting this scene and the rib bones stay in Treasure Yellow Heaven for even a day would have a deep impact on Heavenly Court. Since ancient times, Heavenly Court had all along been publicly acknowledged as the #1 force. Now, Fang Yuan selling Jing Lan's 3 rib bones was like a huge slap to Heavenly Court's face. It was not good for Fairy Ziwei to make a move since Jing Lan was the one involved. Jing Lan also realized Fairy Ziwei's intent. She swallowed this humiliation as she activated a will and concealed her identity before inquiring Fang Yuan's will. What are you selling these rib bones for? Who might you be? I am from Eastern Sea. Jing Lan clenched her teeth, never having thought the Grand Thunder Ghost True Monarch would have to be secretive like this. I am very interested in these 3 rib bones. Fang Yuan's will laughed. There are many interested parties. Jing Lan's will clenched her teeth, but there are few who will be bidding a high price like me. Fang Yuan's will did not act according to her expectations and inquire about the bid, instead shaking his head. No matter how high a price you bid, I am not selling. Not selling. If you are not selling, what are you putting these here for? Jing Lan immediately had a bad feeling. Fang Yuan's will sneered, for fun. You have a problem. Guh. Jing Lan could not endure it, immediately spitting out blood. Fang Yuan. I, Jing Lan, will do whatever it takes to kill you. More than 10 days later, Xianxia blessed land's immortal formation shone with radiance that soared to the skies. The radiance gradually dissipated. Fang Yuan leisurely walked out of the immortal formation. After defeating Jing Lan, Fang Yuan had maintained the immortal killer move Yama throughout the way, moving without resting towards Xianxia blessed land. Because Fang Yuan still did not know Xianxia blessed land's true location, he had to rely on the immortal formation to directly teleport inside. Finally, I don't need to maintain Yama. Fang Yuan let out a sigh of relief, as he cancelled the killer move Yama. Elder Fang Yuan, you have finally returned. Xianxia land's spirit was already standing outside of the immortal formation. As Fang Yuan cancelled Yama and showed his true appearance, Xianxia land's spirit immediately came to welcome him with a smile. Xianxia land's spirit was invaded and Fang Yuan had not contributed anything. Why was Xianxia land's spirit's attitude so cordial then? Fang Yuan was clear of it. It was completely because he had put the 3-rib bones of Thunder Ghost True Monarch on display in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Fang Yuan did not sell them. On one hand it was to strike Heavenly Court's prestige, on the other hand, it was for Xianxia blessed land. Xianxia blessed land was invaded by Feng Jiuji's group and was beaten miserably, as well as provoking Heavenly Court. Over these last days, the higher-ups of the Northern Plains Variant Human Alliance higher-ups were in a constant state of anxiety and pressure. After all, these variant humans had once dominated the world and suppressed humans. It was Heavenly Court who led the human race to defeat these variant human races, creating the current human dominance. So these 4 variant human races were afraid of the human race. They survived by hiding in some corners of the world. Now that they had provoked Heavenly Court, it could be imagined how much pressure they were facing. In such a situation, Fang Yuan had pummeled Thunder Ghost True Monarch mercilessly and put the battle scene on display in Treasure Yellow Heaven for everyone to see. Jing Lan was a famous rank 8 expert in the history. Such a person was also beaten back by Fang Yuan. To variant human Gu immortals, this was tremendously good news. As the news spread, it was like sunlight shone on them, removing the gloominess in their hearts. Elder Fang Yuan, you did a good job this time. Previously, I had been trying to borrow the immemorial rock dragon from the Rockman race, but they had been acting ambiguous. But when the news of your battle spread, their attitude clearly changed. Xianxia land's spirit gave an eye signal to Fang Yuan, transmitting his voice. Now that you are back, we can intimidate the Rockman race to lend their immemorial rock dragon. At that time, we will have 3 great rank 8 battle strengths, and moving Xianxia blessed land would not be an issue. Xianxia land's spirit was in high spirits. Fang Yuan glanced at land's spirit. He was not as optimistic as the latter. Heavenly Court definitely had made a lot of arrangements. It wouldn't be an easy matter to relocate Xianxia blessed land. However, it was not urgent right now to explain this to Xianxia land's spirit. Fang Yuan then looked at a group of variant humans behind Xianxia land's spirit. These people were Gu immortals of the 4 races. To promote Xianxia blessed land, Fang Yuan returned grandly. They came to welcome him. They all had smiles on their faces at this moment. Snowman Gu immortal Bing Yuan praised, Elder Fang Yuan is indeed a heavenly genius, even that Grand Thunder Ghost True Monarch is not your match. This battle has already set your throne as the number 1 rank 7. Bing Yuan was all smiles. Fang Yuan was engaged to a woman of the snowman race. He was considered half a snowman. She was the one who had initiated this. The stronger Fang Yuan was, the more happy she would be. Previously, Fang Yuan and Feng Jiugu held this throne collectively. After all, both had rank 7 cultivation but were able to fight rank 8s. But now, after Fang Yuan displayed the battle scene where he beat Thunder Ghost True Monarch so miserably, the whole world was shocked and in a clamor. Feng Jiugu had invaded Xianxia blessed land, but he naturally could not publicize it. As such, Fang Yuan's reputation suppressed Feng Gu, officially recognized as currently the #1 rank 7 expert in the world. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1560, Refinement Path Quasi-Supreme. Chapter 1560, Refinement Path Quasi-Supreme. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. The fight depended on who the opponent was. If Fang Yuan had won against rank 6 or rank 7 Gu immortals, no one would be so surprised. But when the opponent was the famous rank 8 expert Thunder Ghost True Monarch, it became a completely different thing. Truthfully, Fang Yuan did not have an easy time in this battle, but it was sufficient to establish his reputation as the #1 rank 7 in the world, bringing down Feng Gu. After this battle, Fang Yuan's name became truly renowned in the world. After this battle, even those rank 8 Gu immortals would start paying heavy attention to this rank 7 monster, Fang Yuan. Naturally, this was all Fang Yuan's scheme. Although it was Fang Yuan's defeat, as he took the initiative to retreat, he was not without any gains. Victory and loss in a battle was not too important, only the losses and benefits derived from the battle mattered. Although Fang Yuan was defeated in this battle, he had made a lot of gains. The 3 rib bones' value did not lie in themselves, but in their significance. Fang Yuan used this battle spoil to the limit, shaking the entire Gu immortal world. This included Chu Du's complicated feelings, Wu Yong's displeased expression, and Lu Wei Yin's sigh. And when Fang Yuan returned to Langya Blessed Land, he immediately felt a huge difference. These variant human Gu immortals, including Langya Land Spirit, had a completely different attitude towards him. They held him in genuine awe. Especially in this situation when Heavenly Court was waiting to attack them, Fang Yuan had become their pillar of support. After all, the immemorial rock dragon was only an immemorial desolate beast. Even though ancient battle formation Heavenly Giant Solar had rank 8 battle strength, it still could not compare to a genuine rank 8 Gu immortal. And now, Fang Yuan had pummeled a rank 8 Gu immortal, and this rank 8 Gu immortal was Thunder Ghost True Monarch, who was an expert even among rank 8s. Right now, who would even care about Fang Yuan's rank 7 cultivation? His battle accomplishment was displayed right in front of everyone. Because of this, when Fang Yuan returned to Langya Blessed Land, these people eagerly came to welcome him. Fang Yuan's attitude, however, was slightly cold. He only talked a little with Langya Land Spirit, Bing Yuan and others, while nodding toward Shuai. Shuai immediately lowered her head bashfully. The other snowman Gu immortals beamed with pleasure at this. The variant human Gu immortals proposed holding a feast to welcome Fang Yuan, but Fang Yuan declined without hesitation. The current situation is quite dangerous. The important thing right now is to make the best use of time to get through this danger. Fang Yuan said this indifferently, but the variant human Gu immortals nodded and exclaimed in agreement. Fang Yuan's status had truly changed. These variant human Gu immortals truly treated him as a rank 8 Gu immortal. Compared to their similar status with Fang Yuan before, they were now slightly lowering their heads and had a humble attitude. On one hand, it was because of Fang Yuan's powerful battle strength that could pummel Thunder Ghost True Monarch. On the other hand, a great enemy was in front of them. They needed Fang Yuan's help. Everyone can leave now. I need to talk with First Supreme Elder in private. Fang Yuan waved the immortals to leave without any politeness. Fang Yuan then transmitted his voice to Langya Land Spirit. I am first a Supreme Elder of Langya Sect, only after that am I a member of the Alliance. These words were spoken with sincerity, which immediately made Langya Land Spirit feel good, thinking Fang Yuan had not forgotten his origin and was still their member. The gloominess he felt from Fang Yuan persuading him to hand over Refinement Path true meaning had also decreased by a lot. The group of immortals was tactful, taking their leave. Langya Land Spirit grabbed Fang Yuan's arm, vanishing from the spot and appearing in the first cloud city. With your perceivable Dao Immortal Gu, we found that they had really made some arrangements in the Blessed Land. We need to get rid of these harmful Dao marks first if we want to move Langya Blessed Land. Lang Yalan's spirit was worried. Fang Yuan felt slightly strange. First Supreme Elder, with your refinement path attainment, isn't refining these Dao marks your specialty? Lang Yalan's spirit said in a distressed tone, Heavenly Court is indeed Heavenly Court, their methods are extremely unusual. I have used almost all methods, but am unable to do anything to these Dao marks. A sharp light flashed across Fang Yuan's eyes. Heavenly Court had indeed made ample preparations with their extremely profound foundation. Since they made arrangements, they were not worried of it being discovered, and even more unafraid of it being broken. Perhaps Fairy Ziwei had already taken Lang Yalan's spirit skills into her consideration. I wonder if my self-cleansing killer move will have any effect. Fang Yuan was rather confident in this method. After all, he had gotten rid of inextinguishable star target by using this move. But at this moment, Fang Yuan did not want to immediately make an attempt. He said to Lang Yalan's spirit, since that is the case, then let me be direct. First Supreme Elder, please take out the refinement path true meaning. After I become a refinement path quasi-supreme grandmaster, I will surely be able to resolve this problem. Lang Yalan's spirit's expression immediately changed. This refinement path true meaning was his ultimate treasure. He was going to take it out now and give to Fang Yuan, a human Gu immortal. He naturally did not feel well, and was reluctant to part with it. However, since he had already agreed to Fang Yuan before, and with the grave situation in front of them, even if he was reluctant, he could only nod at this moment. After a while, Fang Yuan finally saw the refinement path true meaning of long hair ancestor. True meaning was an extremely special form of will. This was the first time Fang Yuan was personally seeing a lump of true meaning. This true meaning had the appearance of long hair ancestor sitting cross-legged, its whole body was shining and crystal clear, it did not have a physical body and looked like it was purely made from diamonds. The absolute majority of wills could move about themselves, continuously expending themselves to think and move. But the true meaning was completely still, like a statue. However, it was because of this characteristic that this true meaning could exist for so long. If it was able to move around and think, it would have already been expended completely. You, take it. Lang Yalan's spirit had an extremely complicated expression as he looked at the long hair true meaning for a good while before sighing and saying to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan nodded and stepped forward, his eyes widened as an attractive force appeared that absorbed this long hair true meaning into his mind. Long hair true meaning entered Fang Yuan's mind, immediately letting out brilliant radiance. The diamond-like radiance shone upon Fang Yuan's mind, forming an area of imposing light. Fang Yuan immediately sat cross-legged and closed his eyes, his expression firm. He began to use many wisdom path methods. Immediately, shocking waves rose in his mind as countless thoughts and all kinds of wills charged at the long hair true meaning, constantly colliding, constantly absorbing, learning and comprehending. Everything progressed smoothly. Fang Yuan completely absorbed this long hair true meaning in several hours, turning it into his own foundation. This was the complete understanding of long hair ancestor towards refinement path. Now it completely turned into Fang Yuan's cultivation resource. Fang Yuan's refinement path attainment level, which had been relatively unspectacular the entire time, now soared to quasi-supreme grandmaster in one step. This is truly ascending to heaven in one step. Even if it were the time of 5 regions chaotic war where dream realms manifested, I would not have such an accomplishment from exploring dream realms. Even Fang Yuan felt extremely moved, his gain was truly enormous. Although he had completely absorbed the refinement path true meaning, Fang Yuan still remained seated without budging, wholeheartedly savoring his advancement. Refinement path. This was a very special path. Gu immortals who cultivated this path were most proficient in refining Gu. The way of Gu cultivation had 3 elements: nurture, use, and refinement. Now, in terms of refining Gu, Fang Yuan had become extraordinarily skilled. Among all the Gu immortals in the entire 5 regions, there was almost no one who could match the current Fang Yuan in his understanding towards refinement path. But, just attainment level is still not enough. What I currently lack are experiences of refining Gu, refinement path immortal Gu, and refinement path killer moves. Fang Yuan had a clear understanding of himself. But as long as I practice these things, my progress will be extremely rapid, to the point of simply skyrocketing. After all, I am now a quasi-supreme grandmaster. Who could have thought that after raising my theft path attainment level to great grandmaster, my refinement path would become quasi-supreme grandmaster in just a short time? Fang Yuan pondered with closed eyes, carefully comprehending the changes brought by refinement path attainment level. He casually flipped through a Gu recipe. With just one glance, the mortal Gu recipe completely revealed its profundities to Fang Yuan, and with another thought, Fang Yuan could raise this Gu recipe to its most optimal level. He looked at an immortal Gu recipe. It naturally had much more contents than the mortal Gu recipe, and its difficulty also rose sharply. But this did not beat Fang Yuan. He discovered he only needed to concentrate on the contents and some problems would immediately become clear with just some thinking. For some more complex rank 8 immortal Gu recipes, Fang Yuan needed to use wisdom path methods to constantly ponder. But because of quasi-supreme refinement path attainment, his thoughts would not have errors. Sometimes, he did not even need to deduce, he could just refine an immortal Gu based on intuition or determine if an immortal Gu recipe was usable. Looking at an immortal Gu recipe which he understood completely before, he was now able to instantly think of a large number of improvements. The more he thought, the more modification plans he discovered. And regarding incomplete recipes, unlike before when he had to deduce with the help of the light of wisdom, the difficulty had decreased by countless times now. Naturally, he was not all-knowing, and would still need the respective path's attainment level to deduce many incomplete recipes. In the history of refinement path, there were only 3 Supreme Grandmasters. I now have quasi-supreme Grandmaster attainment level, not just in the current era, even throughout history. Based on refinement path attainment level, I should be in the top 10. Fang Yuan's battle strength might not have changed, but his view was no longer the same. It had almost been elevated to the highest point of Gu cultivation. Standing at this height, Fang Yuan could simply look down upon the entire Gu cultivation process. Countless insights emerged in his mind. The way of Gu contains nurturing, using, and refinement. They are actually one to begin with. The nurturing of Gu worms has the element of refinement, the element of refinement contains the element of use, and the element of use also contains both nurturing and refinement. The current Fang Yuan could look at a complete Gu recipe and tell how this Gu worm should be nurtured and what its effects were. With his comprehension, he could also reverse deduce how the Gu worm should be refined from the way it was nurtured and used. Wait a moment, I understand now. Actually, any killer move, be it mortal or immortal killer move, can be considered as an incomplete Gu recipe. Fang Yuan's body suddenly shook as he comprehended this maxim of refinement path. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.